I am ready for success. I am success. I am ready. I am ready. I am ready. I am ready. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Yes, I am ready. I am ready for success. This is the Super Organizer Show with James Lott Jr. and you're listening to my new song. Yes, you guys, I have a song called I Am Ready. It is available everywhere today. As of today, it's available on iTunes, Spotify, Amazon Music. You can go to Google Play. You can go to SoundCloud. Just type in James Lott Jr. and it'll come up, or type in I Am Ready and it'll come up. It is everywhere. I'm so excited. This weird little venture that I did on the side is taking a life of its own. And that's just a lesson in life. When you clear out the clutter of your mind and it frees you to do other things, be creative. It's just like being clear and creative when you want to organize your homes, your cars, garages. Your mind is just as important, right? It starts with the mindset. I'm James Lott Jr., your host, and I'm so glad to be here today. I'm coming to you live from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Yes, many of you guys know that Pittsburgh is another home for me, and I come visit here at least about 3 or 4 times a year. And I just love where I'm at. My house where I live here is in the Troy Hill area, which is the north side of Pittsburgh. I have a beautiful view of downtown Pittsburgh, which is a great skyline. 3 rivers merge. They have bridges everywhere. Pittsburgh is the place. It is an up-and-coming place here. It's happening. We're going to talk about that a little more. And I came at the right time. The Penguins won the Stanley Cup, so that's exciting. But then also we have flash flood warnings the last couple of days, so that's kind of weird too. That's just how it goes here in Western Pennsylvania. My guest. I have a great guest. She is a local here, and she is an organizer. She is a certified professional organizer in chronic disorganization. She's the first of that kind here in Pittsburgh and Western Pennsylvania. Go, girl. She has also been on TLC's Hoarding Buried Alive. I know you guys have watched that show. You guys have all watched that show. She is Organizing Rules, Inc., and they have a cute little mascot who has a Facebook page, Ophelia. And she's a member of the NAPO chapter here in Pittsburgh. And we're gonna have a great conversation with her. And I'm gonna make sure I say her name as clear as I can. Ms. Vickie Delllaquila. Did I say that right?
Hey, that's great, James. Very good.
Oh my goodness. How are you?
I am good. I am ready. I love your song.
Thank you. Thank you.
Great.
Thank you. It's funny because I always tell people all the time, just when you clear your mind and clear everything out, which it starts with your mindset first, always before you do anything else. You never know what will come in that's really positive. And for me, it was a song, and people wanting to help me with the song, and now more songs are being made. It's just a great thing to clear, to get that mindset, isn't it?
It is. You're absolutely right. You clear the clutter, not just physically, but then out of your mind, things can happen. I mean, like you with your song, like me with my business, my book, my little mascot, Ophelia, all those types of things. So, yeah, it makes a huge difference.
Her book, I've got to mention, her book is called Don't Toss My Memories in the Trash. I love that title. We're going to get into that, too. But first, before I do anything, I always do my thanks and gratitude. I've been doing it for 2.5 years. I'm doing this show. I believe in giving thanks. I believe in giving gratitude out loud. I like to say it and express it. And so I want to these are my thanks and gratitude. It could be anything, folks. I suggest everyone do this. I want to give thanks and gratitude to my family here in Pittsburgh, who looks over my house. They drive by, make sure things are going okay while I'm not here. They're great. We're really close. They're great. So shout out to them and thanks and gratitude to them in my lives. To Atchmont Real Estate, to Bruce and Judy, they're just great folks over there who take care of my house and things that I need whenever I need them to. I can call them from Los Angeles and they're like right on it. They have great suggestions. They're well connected here in Pittsburgh. Atchmont Real Estate on James Street on the East Ohio Street area right there in North Side. They're so wonderful. I want to give thanks and gratitude to Bob Evans. Oh my God, I love Bob Evans so much. Vickie, you have no idea. I love Bob Evans so much. They have the best breakfast on earth. I just want to tell you guys, the biscuits and gravy. They have the real pork sausage gravy, not the crap they serve in Los Angeles. Not no gluten-free crap, no like white gravy. This is the gravy that makes your arteries harden and your heart stop, and it's so good. Thank you, Bob Evans. Come on, Vickie. Come on. right?
Yeah, it's good.
Bob Evans is good.
It's really good, yes.
There's a lot of places to eat here in Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's becoming a foodie place, but I was like, I just want to give a shout out to Bob Evans because I've had them twice since I've been here already. And I just want to give a shout out to the north side of Pittsburgh, which is starting to change. And the north side consists of areas called the Mexican War Streets District, Troy Hill, Spring Garden. But it really is starting to make some changes, and I just love coming here. And those are my thanks and gratitude. I get to do that. So, Miss Vickie, how long have you been in Pittsburgh? Are you from Pittsburgh? How long have you been here?
No, I'm originally not from here, but I have been here 21 years.
Wow.
It's the longest place I've ever lived in my entire life.
Wow.
And Pittsburgh is a great place. It really is.
It is, because it's centrally located to a lot of places here on the East Coast and Midwest. Number one, so it's a great location to go to New York. You want to go to Ohio. You can start here. But also, it really the art scene is coming up, the food, everything. They're filming movies here, right?
It is, yeah. They film a lot of movies here. Yeah, I live actually north of the north side. I'm not far from you at all.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, probably like 6 miles from you, maybe. I don't know, something like that.
Are you like in Millvale or Ross or?
I'm a little bit further north of Millvale. Yeah,
okay.
Up in the North Hills area.
Okay.
But yeah, not far from Millvale. I used to work in Millvale.
Oh, how funny. Okay, yeah, I have a sister down there, so yeah.
Yeah, and Millvale's, that's definitely an up-and-coming area. But yeah, lots of movies filmed here. Great education.
Mm-hmm.
3 kids were raised here, and they had a great education.
Mm-hmm.
Nice people. They always say Pittsburgh is like a bunch of small towns crammed together.
I believe that.
That's what it reminds me of.
I believe that. And it's funny, and for me, I love the greenery. I mean, because, on the north side, it's very green. Right now, I'm staying in a hotel because I'm getting to do some work on my house. I'm off of McKnight Road area. I'm over here. Mm-hmm. And you go further out, there's Cranberry, and there's some great areas that are changing too. They're all just the growth is amazing.
It is, yeah, it is. And the north side is I think it's an extraordinary place that people forget the history that is there on the north side. The architecture is beautiful.
Yes.
It really is.
I agree. Completely agree. And there's some great homes. I have a house that I own that is just beautiful, banisters, everything. So you say architecture is just beautiful. And people just think, oh, well, it's on this street. Oh, it's nothing. I'm like, no, and the views are just amazing over here. They're amazing. Mm-hmm. Oh, my God.
Yeah, I have a friend who lives on Spring Hill, and she showed me her view, and I was like, this is incredible. This is where you sit and watch fireworks right here. And she said, yeah, I don't have to move anywhere.
That's right. My house, too, I have views of both. I have views of downtown on one side and Spring Hill on the other, and Spring Garden on the other. And I get to, and I know in L.A., we value views. L.A., New York, we're all about views. And when I first came here to get a house about 15 years ago, the realtor that wasn't the selling point back then. It was like, oh yeah, you got a view. I'm like, you understand I have a view. Like, I'm like, you don't even get it. It's like, they wasn't, I'm probably now they probably sell that as something, but back then it just wasn't a key selling point. I was shocked.
Yeah, it is. It's turning around. I mean, Pittsburgh really is becoming a real hopping, cool city for sure. Now,
one of the things I want to talk about first is you have, a book out, and I became a published author this year, and I'm not organizing books out yet, which I'm working on those, but I have other books. How did it feel for you to birth? Because basically you birthed a baby. This book,
yeah.
Were you nervous? How was it received? Were you just happy it was done?
It's amazing because it is 10 years old.
Wow.
And it's still selling.
Wow.
And I am just redoing. I just have redone everything, updated the cover, information, resources, all those sorts of things. Added a little bit more. It's coming out again, probably about the beginning of July.
Oh, good.
And
I want a copy.
It is.
I want a copy.
Yeah. Just definitely get your copy. Yeah, but yeah, it's amazing. It is like having a baby. You're right. Exactly right.
Oh yes, it's pain. Less physically painful, but emotionally painful. I'm sure. You go through a lot.
Yeah, because it's a lot of work, of course. Writing it, but then it's also very wonderful writing it. And the book is about. After I worked for a while in the organizing world, I noticed there were so many different kinds of people who downsize and move, especially in the senior environment. And that's what the book's about. They're clients that I have worked with. Their names have all been changed, but all the different types of people that are out there, from the person who's like, I'm fine. I live in a 3-story house in Pittsburgh,
yes.
and nothing's going to happen to me, and I'm 90 years old. Mm-hmm. But something might. and doesn't want to move, or the person who has a fall and has to move right away.
Yeah.
So all the different scenarios that happen with that.
How did you come to? I used to be a geriatric nurse 30 years ago. I worked with all seniors, and so my first clients were all seniors. And I was telling somebody the other day, I said, just a different mindset. And it's funny because some of my most open clients have been seniors. Because I don't make seniors be out to be like these old crotchety people. Some of my old, I had a couple of clients in their 80s who were so open and happy to get rid of stuff. But there is also another side to it where I had many of my clients were open on some level, but just it was harder for them. Just a little more.
Absolutely.
How did you fall into the senior world of this?
You know what? I am a former nurse, and I also worked as a case.
Oh my God!
Yes, an LPN, and I worked as a caseworker in a nursing home. And so I was working as a caseworker. Mrs. Smith would come in. She had fallen and broken her hip, and her son lived in Chicago. And he would have to come in, and he'd be like, "Oh my gosh, I have a week to take care of all this stuff for my mom, including her house because she's not going home, and I don't know what to do." And I thought, wow, wouldn't it be great if someone could help him and his mom way before this crisis happened? So that was part of the world of just the organizing part. And then I kept running into those types of people with all the different scenarios, from the adult children to maybe someone who does not have any children, or nieces or nephews, and they might have an attorney, and all the different scenarios. And I thought, I think there's something here. I think you could help people like this. And voila, it's true.
That's
definitely.
Wow, that's amazing, because that's kind of what happened with me. I was trying to find, you say find your target market. It's a very business thing, of course. And I just kind of fell into, my first clients were older, and it turns out a lot of times if you're good and they like you, they'll say, well, they would say for me, I have this young man who would help you. I'm like, I'm a young man, thank you. I'm a grandfather myself. Oh my God, thank you so much. But to them, I was younger than them. So they would pass you along. So I gleaned a whole, just kind of group of older people that I was working with, that I became popular in that world. But for you, it's funny that you kind of came up with a plan, and everything you're saying is so true. It's like, what if we help them before it gets to that point? Then when it gets to that point, how much easier the transition is going to be, right?
Exactly. I mean, I definitely work with people beyond that point, because I work with a lot of seniors who do have chronic disorganization too, or possible hoarding, and but it's so much better if they are going to think about moving, or not think about moving, but then something happens, especially with a child who lives out of state. Even a child who lives right by them, it's very hard for them to try to take care of all this, because it's a lot of work. It is not a gift to give to your adult children a house full of stuff. It's not a gift at all.
I agree. Totally agree with that. It's just it's a burden. It's a bother. But see, the thing that I always come across though is like, they're like, well, I'm an adult. If I want to collect stuff, I can do that. Or I'm a grown up, and I'm like, no one's saying you're not a grown up and you're not an adult, but we're just trying to say still be mindful of kind of how this will affect everyone around you on some level. Isn't that hard sometimes? Some people just kind of get stuck in their ways.
Yeah, I think so. I think also it has to do with the generational thing. If they grew up during the Depression or World War II with rationing, or very poor, I found that too, or maybe through a natural disaster like a fire or flood, it's very, very difficult for them to let go of things, which, really makes sense. But I always like to say to the folks who have the great, they're very frugal and they can make a chair out of twist ties. They can do anything. I just say, you know what, this is great. However, this is now in your way when you're trying to achieve something else, downsizing and moving. Also, too, your things can help someone else by donating them.
Yes.
Yeah, so trying to help them on that and refocus, and it can work sometimes. Sometimes not, but usually it can.
No, you bring up an excellent point, and I'm glad you said that. And I want to say it to my listeners out there, especially the ones who, like, I have a wide variety of listeners. Some are in industry, some aren't. Some people just want to get organized and listen to my show. You guys, trust me, if the house has something that has collecting dust and not being used, I can almost guarantee someone else out there could use it. And it's not the whole point of when you buy something, you use it. It's not the original point.
Exactly, exactly. I always say, I had a client once who had a lot of really neat vintage clothing from like the 40s, 50s, 60s. And I just happened to mention, about theater. And she said, wow. And I said, you know what? I know somebody's putting on Sound of Music. That dress you have that you no longer wear because it was about 40 years old, Maria would look wonderful in it in the Sound of Music, whoever's playing Maria. And she was like, yeah. So she really thought, yeah, I could see my dress on stage, and I'm just wearing it during the Sound of Music.
That's
So,
funny.
just thinking about, where it could go and be reused, because everyone wants their stuff to go to someone who can use it. They really do.
Here's the thing, and people out there who may not realize this, as organizers, we are being invited into someone's personal space. And so we have to be really delicate on how we approach people because we're touching their stuff. And I always tell them, because I don't do much organizing anymore. I'm now more media. But in my organizing practice I had for 10 years, I always said, I respect your stuff. I just want you to know that. I'm here to help. I'm not here to hinder. And the first thing, I'm not going to make you throw away everything. I mean, haven't you heard that question? You're an organizer, you're going to throw everything out? I'm like, that's not that's not even that's a Band-Aid. It's not even it doesn't fix anything. You throw just everything out.
No, that's right. That's right. And, I always say organizing is a process.
Yes.
And it's not really about stuff. It's about emotions.
Yes.
Your emotions tied to your stuff.
Glad you said that.
And once you start thinking about it a little differently, then it might be a little easier to let go of some things as you progress through the process, because it is a process. It's not overnight. You can't. Change is hard for anybody, but, you can't be doing it 24 hours and I'm done and everything's great. No, it doesn't work that way. Life doesn't work that way.
And it's true because also people who have been mothers, fathers of families who are used to being in control and being in charge, and where people rarely question them, to suddenly be questioned, it must be just tough for older people, right?
I think so. Yeah, I definitely think so, because, it could be someone who maybe was a professor all their life and, and they had this really wonderful career, and now all of a sudden their daughter might say, oh, Dad, I can't even believe you're going to keep all that junk from the university. Why not just get rid of it? But it's not junk to them. It's their life. It's part of who they are. And so it's really difficult to let go of it.
So tell me some tips on how to talk to someone, because you just brought up a good point. Someone says it's junk, obviously you get defensive. Also, just a side note, and I'm a certified life coach, and in life coaching we learn you never ask a why question. A why question puts people on defense. Why do you have this? Even if you say it nicely, why do you have this? I mean, it doesn't matter. It still just comes out like you're being interrogated. Even if it could be the most just innate, benign question. But when you say why, if you say something else like, when was the last time you used this, or what is this for, or how do you use it? Like you change the wording. So I'm curious with you. What are some of your techniques? Kind of just briefly, some of your techniques on how to talk to someone.
What I like to do, especially with folks who are older, is, first of all, I don't want to talk too fast, because sometimes I'm actually from the Midwest originally, and I will.
Yes, I understand that. Yes, I do.
So, I try not to do that, and then just it is like you said, it's a privilege and an honor to be asked to go to someone's home in their private space to help them, and to I like to remind them of that. But I am here to help you. We do have a goal, and we usually go through when I do help someone on a consultation. We do some goal setting. So this is what we want to do. You want to let go of things because you're going to move. Okay, great. And as we're going through things, and no, I'm keeping that, and say, you know what? I don't think we're really, going towards our goal. So what do you think about this thing? And if it's something that's really hard, I will say, hey, how about we leave it aside and we're going to let it marinate. I always like to use the word marinate.
Marinate, yes.
Yep. It's going to be marinating there for a while.
Yes,
we're going to come back to it. And I always just say, it's a hard thing, but it is something that may get in your way, such as an organ, or a piano, large items like that, or even small items, whatever it is. Just think about it, and what I like to say too to somebody is, okay, I like to ask open-ended questions, but okay, so tell me about this thing. tell me about this collection of coffee mugs. Tell me about those, and let them talk. And a lot of times they can find the solution to their own answer.
Yeah.
Such as, I have 50 coffee mugs, and the more I think about it, why do I have them? Gee whiz, I don't know. I got them as gifts, and now I've just collected them, and now it's like maybe it does make sense to let go of some. And that's what I always like to do too. Maybe you could just let go of a few. And then as time progresses, usually they let go of a lot more. But I think that being gentle with somebody, not like, get rid of that, Dad, does not work.
I agree. I think so too. I think you gave some great advice. I think it's all about the approach. Now, when someone who has early stage, maybe say dementia, I'm going to Alzheimer's like that, but just like dementia, where they have short-term memory loss or just hearing things happen, how's the approach with that? Are you still being the kind, caring approach? And if they say, well,
right.
Where did my 50 mugs go? Yeah. We agreed to get rid of them, yesterday. How do you deal with that a little bit?
Well, what I like to do is, first of all, again, go over things a few times. First of all, if there is a significant other, like a child, attorney, a niece, nephew, I like to bring them in.
Okay.
They don't not necessarily physically in, but in the loop of the process. Because if their mom says, "Oh yeah, I have a Picasso, get rid of it."
Yes, right.
Yeah, something that has value, or something I think, wow, I bet that's really important to them. I will not get rid of it, and I will talk to the child. Is this really something you think your mom wants? I'll kind of set that aside.
Okay.
But what I like to do too is use photographs, because they may not remember, but look, here's these things, and we talked about it, and that day, we got rid of so many books or whatever it is, and then we take another picture of the books going, and then a picture of the books that are staying. See, this is what we did, and you may, do you remember this? And they might, by the photos. It might help them. But at least it's documented in photograph form, which is easier for them to think about than in writing. I mean, even though I write it too, and they can sign it and stuff, but photographs I think are very, very helpful. And the bringing in that child to say, Mom, no, it's okay, we're going to do that. Especially if there's a power of attorney. That really helps a lot.
Yeah, I was going to say it must be, because again, they say don't toss my memories in the trash. That's a great title, but also it's like for real. I'm not going to toss. We have to discern on some level some things that really might be very important. It might be, your great grandfather's flag when he was in the army. You don't want to throw that out. Obviously, it's part of it might be part of the clutter, but we got to find a place. Let's find a place for it that may be outside the home, or maybe another relative can hold on to. Yeah, so you're talking about that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that kind of stuff. I always like to talk about this woman I worked with years ago, at least a dozen years ago. Her name was Gertrude. She called me at age 95.
Wow.
First started downsizing and moving. Wow. She lived in a 3-story huge house in Pittsburgh, as I'm sure you can just imagine.
I have one of those too.
So yeah, Yep. Yeah. She inherited from her parents.
Wow.
Her parents had lived there, aunts and uncles, all their stuff was there. And then she decided she was downsizing and moving to a retirement independent living. Okay, great. So we worked together. She was, really in good shape. And we worked for about a month, and then she called me and she said, you know what? I'm not moving. I am going to stay right here. And I said, well, okay. But I'm here to help you if you want me to. So I called her again a few weeks later just to see how she was doing. And her son, out-of-state son, answered the phone. And, I asked how she was doing. And she said, well, she fell down the stairs. She broke her hip. She went to rehab. She went then to assisted living. She could not go home. And then her kids were cleaning out the house, and they just got exhausted. And they're just like, that's it. I'm getting a dumpster. I can't stand it. We're just tossing things away. And, I went to see her then, and, I said, I'm really sorry what happened to you. And she said, I am too, because I was being really stubborn and not thinking about other people and myself, because I'm really upset that they took things that I loved that had to go in the dumpster. And she said, I'm really upset at myself. And I always think, that's anybody, Gertrude. And I always think, the power to make your own decisions is so empowering, about your stuff. And it really, I always think about her because it really makes a difference. She really said to a lot of people, that nothing's going to happen and I'm going to be fine.
Yeah. So if your whole thing is inclusion, it's like we're collaborating together every step of the way. We're going to talk about each thing. If we have to touch each thing and talk about it, we're going to talk about it, correct?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. And, it depends on the person, too. We like to group things. oh, you know what? It's okay. I don't need to see anything that is, I don't know, magazines from the 1980s or whatever, something like that. I'm good with that. And some people are, and then some people are not. I run into people all the time that do, that just, like I had a client a long time ago who was moving from a condo to assisted living, and I ran into her, I was in her walk-in closet, and I found a giant eagle bag. You'll know what that is.
Yes, giant eagle. I was just there 2 nights ago. Yes.
Yep, a few of them actually,
Yeah.
and they were full of cards. And I asked her, "Hey, what are these?" And she said, "Oh, those are the cards from when my husband died 10 years ago." And I said, "Okay, what would you like? Do you know what you want to do with them?" And she said, "I want you to take those out, and I want you to just shred them, because I'm okay with letting them go. They just had to sit there, but I need to move on, and I'm okay." So for some people, the time happens and they can do it, and other people, no, it's not going to ever happen.
Wow.
She just knew for her that was the way to move on for her. She didn't have to touch them, nothing.
Have you ever had a client where you're just like, it just didn't work out?
Did I ever have a client that didn't work out?
Where you guys you couldn't work together, they just didn't. They were they were at an impasse or blocked where you couldn't break through.
Yeah. Yeah, and I have, and I always try to. First of all, I try to stop that on the before the consultation on the phone. That's where I really try to stop it.
I'm sure.
I always like, especially if they're in a world of downsizing or chronic disorganization or hoarding, and if you're not willing to receive help, then that's okay. But I don't think you're ready, and I don't want to waste your time, your money, my time. Let's not work until you're ready. You have to be ready.
Yeah.
So when people say, like, "Oh, sure, I'm ready to work," and then I go there and they don't, because everything changes, then usually I stop after a little while and I'll say, "You know what? We're not really working towards any goals that we set, and maybe we need to stop, and maybe we need to just move on, and you can call me back or another organizer. I'll be happy to refer you to another organizer if you think that's part of the problem." And, they're kind of amazed that I would do that. But, there's no sense in doing that. So sometimes, I've had to just say, "You know what? We're going to have to just stop, and maybe we can come back to this later, or maybe I'm just not the right person for you."
Right.
So,
I'm just curious because I just know that, like I said, some people are, and this can be any age, some people are really get blocked. They get stuck. And sometimes even when you start sometimes, you never know what the path is going to be either. Then you get started, and you realize they hit something, you touch something of theirs, or they touch something of their own, and it kind of stops them. So, but we try, as organizers, we do try to vet and do what we can and be kind, but it just can be tough. Now, what are some? I was trying to think. So you're downsizing. I mean, it must be hard because if they're older and they're having some memory loss, it's like, it must be interesting to navigate that, to figure out what it is they're going to keep. I guess you basically figure out what are the basics. I guess that's one of the first things you figure out, like, what are the basics they need.
Yeah, and that's what I usually start with. Okay, you're downsizing, and if they're moving, if they're just downsizing and aging in place, we're going to think about from a safety perspective too.
Okay, thank you for that. Okay.
That'd be one thing. Yeah, definitely. Always think about safety first if they're going to stay in their home. But if they are downsizing and moving, the floor plan's brought in, because that is one of the big things to start with, because that's big stuff. Thinking about furniture, and you can't just eyeball it, which a lot of people love to do, but they don't use something called a tape measure.
Right.
It doesn't work when you just say, "Yeah, this will all just fit. It'll work great. It'll work great." But it doesn't. So I always like to use that. I had a long time ago, I had a client whose parents were moving here from Wisconsin, and she lived here. And they had big furniture, and I was working with another person on the other end, another organizer. And she said, "They're going to move it." And I said, "It's not going to fit. It's not going to fit."
Wow.
And they were willing to get rid of it, but their daughter was not.
Oh.
I took the daughter to the new apartment, and I laid it out with paper. I said, "See, it's too deep. Your parents are in their late 80s. They can't get in and out of it. And it's too big for assisted living." No, it's going to work. It's going to work. But I said, "Look, how are they going to do this if they can't jump over things?" So anyway, what ended up happening is I had a second plan, because I thought this isn't going to work, and I had a storage unit on the side ready to go. And of course it came, and the daughter was like, "It's not going to fit." She just had to see it. She couldn't envision it.
Right.
And And then unfortunately it cost a lot more money because they had to, take those out. I think they either went to a unit or they were donated, but, it just didn't work. Of course it didn't work. But, some people just cannot envision it until they actually see it.
You're like me.
That's what I usually start with.
And that's the thing. You're like me. I'm a person like, okay, well, I will give you my opinion. I will give you my expertise. I will even try to show you. And if you still want to do it, because you hired me, and it's your money, we'll go do it. But you'll see for yourself. I mean, every once in a blue moon, they can be correct too. I don't want to only like sometimes it's like, I didn't see that. Okay, you want to do? Okay, now I see it. Or another solution comes out of it completely.
Yeah.
And so, like you said, that can happen also. So.
Yeah, definitely. And as far as people, with dementia, or people who don't have dementia, but they start this process,
yes,
it's so easy with the stress to forget things. It's so easy to forget things. And thinking, this will take forever, or this will not take very long at all. And, and sometimes people will say, I can't believe how long this takes. But I say, well, you've been in your home for 50 years, and you have never downsized.
Yes, right.
50 years is a long time to accumulate stuff.
It's my lifetime. It's my lifetime. Yeah, so it's crazy. Yes.
Yeah, it takes a while, and I always say, downsizing is a good idea throughout your life.
Yes.
Whether you're going anywhere or not, as you pass your stages of your life, if you, from high school to college to a job, and letting go of those things, because I run into a ton of prom dresses that belong to a woman who's 55 living in LA. She forgot to pick it up at her mom's house in Pittsburgh, or University of Pittsburgh papers from the 70s.
Oh, yeah.
60s. Yeah, all the time I run into those. They forgot to pick them up. They're at mom's house.
Oh my God, that's so funny. And you also bring up a point that too, when I would say sometimes there's too many cooks in the kitchen. When you have like, let's say a mother, and we have like four kids, and they each have their own ideas what should be done. I mean, and they're all talking at you. How do you go to the one who's actually paying you and say, okay, you're the leader? I mean, how do you handle that?
Well, what I usually do is when I meet the client, and if the client really wants if they're not paying for an adult child, but they want their adult child, they're still the client no matter what.
Yeah,
they're the client, they're in charge. But they want one of their children to really, input. I always say, okay, 4 daughters, who will be the contact? One person, because I've had in the past sometimes where people think they all can put their input in,
like, nope.
And it doesn't work.
Nope, it doesn't.
Too many cooks in the kitchen.
Exactly.
You can't have too many cooks in the kitchen.
Exactly.
You need one head chef.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what I'd say. We need just one person, and we need to pick one. And then if they do that, but then they may still forget that and call anyway, I'll just say, well, you know what? I think you need to charge, if they want to change something, I think you need to check with your sister and your mom.
Yeah.
Because they're the ones making the decision. So
yeah.
You can't just change things.
I think it's up to them to pull together, and you're hired to work with that person that's the conduit, the connector of all this. So if that's the one daughter and the mom, that's who it is.
That's exactly who it is. Because if you don't do that, you will have exactly what you just said.
Oh my God!
Too many cooks in the kitchen, and then you're like, no. Do you say yes on the happy roaster? No, you said no. No, you said yes. Yeah.
Right, exactly. Now, I would think some of the problem areas, and you please correct me, would be bathroom, kitchen, dining room, living room, probably, and then of course we have basements and garages. But I'm thinking if you're going to downsize, and you're staying at the house, I'm thinking those are probably some of the main areas, aren't they?
They are, but unfortunately too, some people really do think that, I've had these tools for a long time. I'm going to need them. But you know what? The maintenance is provided where you're moving. But you never know. You still might need 6 hammers.
All right. No, I know. I have heard that many times, yes. All the tape measures and things. Tape measures and hanger. Oh, yes.
All those things.
Yes.
Yeah, all those things. But I usually, kitchens especially, definitely sometimes men, but usually more women of the generation of people in their 80s and 90s. Maybe the main cook, and a lot of times what I see happening, and this happened to my mother-in-law who is passed, but she had 6 children. My husband was one of 6.
Wow.
She still shopped as if she had 6 children when the children were all gone. She could not change her habits, and she would not let go of things. And so I see that all the time, and it's like, yeah, but your kids, you need to think about this. They're 40, 45, 50, and 60. So they're not living here. You need to think about your life now, not trying to accommodate them, because they're not going to be living with you. And starting to think about, hey, if I had a service for 12 people, plates, and extra stuff, maybe I can just keep some of it. Like maybe I could keep 4 settings or 2 settings, and starting to get them to think in that way. Do you go out to eat often? Okay, you go out 3 times a week. Great. Well, then maybe you don't quite need as many pots and pans.
Right.
Because you're not going to be cooking as much.
Right.
And, yeah, the kitchen is a hard place because people think, oh, no, I'm going to, especially here in Pittsburgh with, like, Pitzel.
Oh, yeah. Yes. No, I know. Oh, my God, yes.
Yeah, I can't get rid of the Pitzel maker. I've been making those forever.
Yeah, no, I know.
Okay.
That's and and it's funny. You bring up a really good point. 'Cause that's a very cultural thing too. And there's certain cultures, certain areas where, yeah, I mean, well, especially here, we have a lot of German, Eastern European, where it's like I gotta make my halushka, tomorrow, or pierogies, and the next. Yep. I mean, I need the wooden block. I need this. I need the big giant pots. And it's like you haven't made those in 20 years because you can't remember how to make them. So it's kind of like, I mean, it's.
Right.
I miss them. I wish you did make them still.
You do, but you rarely make them. And it's not just here; it's around the world.
Yeah, that's true.
2 years ago, I was very fortunate to be a speaker in Japan at the JOLO conference, Japanese Association of Life Organizers, and what I talked about was letting go, downsizing, moving on. And even places like Japan, cultural changes where adult women are not taking care of their mothers as much.
Oh.
They're going into a teeny little apartment and they got to go and think about, okay, how am I going to fit my mom in here? But things like a traditional kimono, it takes up a lot of space. What am I going to do with this? So it's a worldwide problem. It really is.
Yeah.
What do I do? What do I do with this?
But I just think it's a good thing to just mention a little bit about the cultural difference, because there are people who, like you said, the mothers. Well, usually it's the women in the family. Not always. We can men too, but
not always.
Not always. I want to make sure I say that too. Not always, but a lot of times I know for me and my family, so a lot of it has been the women who make traditional things at all the holidays. So that's why there's 10,000 pots and pans and sheets, and I mean there's a million things that they use that they don't realize when half the families moved out of town because they've got married, moved somewhere else. They don't come back to every holiday. Like you don't do labor, so it's like that is tough. And you got to really talk to them in plain ways and loving ways of like, okay, maybe just keep 2 pans, just because you may make it again one day. Just kind of, I guess, talk to them in a way that's really just like, come on, girl.
And I always say to them with everyday things, of course, you can help someone else by your donation, that sort of thing. But you know what? If you got rid of the 10-inch frying pan and you've moved and you're like, oh, I should have never got rid of that. I wish I could have it. I am sure you could go and buy a new one at Target or someplace else. I'm sure it's replaceable. It really is.
Well, it's funny you just said that. On another note, I have a client who's in her 70s that she used to work. She doesn't work anymore. She's retired, but she was like a businesswoman. All these suits, we got rid of them. And then one day she was like, I have a black pantsuit. I said, well, do you need one? She goes, well, no, I don't need one right now. So are you going where to get one? Do you need an event to have this? No. I go, but here's the beauty of that. You luckily are financially set up that if you need to buy a black suit, you could. Yeah. She's like, oh. She's like, oh. It clicked with her. Like, you don't have to. In the old days, you had every suit because you did wear every suit to work. Now, you're not working anymore. So what you have in your closet's fine. But if you have a special occasion, you can go somewhere and get one if you needed to.
Yeah, and I always believe, too, things will come to you if you really need them.
Yes.
For example, somebody lets go of stuff. I had a client a long time ago who I was helping her in her basement, just stuffed with things, and she was looking for a job. And she had been looking for a few months, and, we worked on her basement for 2 days, really cleared stuff. And, you could go, woohoo, that this happened, but it did happen. She got a call, and she got offered a job after that basement was cleared out.
There you go.
And I really believe that once you clear some of that, things come back to you in a good way. Like you need the black suit, and even if you didn't have the money to buy it, maybe someone's like, you know what, this doesn't fit me anymore. Do you want it? Mm-hmm. I think that happens all the time with people. If you let go, something will come back to you.
I agree.
If you need it.
I totally agree with that.
Yeah.
I totally agree with that. It's just because you also work with people with the chronic disease organization The Institute, of course, which I love them. I shout out to the girls over there. I love the Institute. They do such great work. First of all, and I have two of the main books that they sent them to me, and they're fascinating reads. So you were the first one certified in Western Pennsylvania?
Yep, I sure am.
Wow.
There's not very many of us at all. Yeah,
Wow.
I love ICD, Institute for Challenge.
Yeah, ICD is just wonderful.
It is. It's an amazing education for not just professional organizers, but also for the public. There are some free downloads that are, to change some paper, that you can download. And it's really great. But yeah, I'm the first one. I've been certified since 2012.
Okay.
And I'm actually continue. I already had my level 4, and I'm in my level 5, which is the highest level. I should graduate in about another year as a master trainer with ICD.
Now you're going to speak at their conference, correct?
What's that?
Are you speaking at their conference this year?
I'm speaking. No, but I am speaking at the Hoarding Project Conference in Philadelphia at the end of June, and they're from Tacoma, Washington, I believe.
Oh wow!
And it'll be really great. They have a pretty big impact on the world of hoarding and chronic disorganization. It's 2 social workers, I believe, who run it, and it'll be really a great conference. Looking forward to it. I got asked to speak there, so I'm really happy about that. I'm the world of professional organizer in that type of world because we're there too.
What's so crazy is people always ask me when I say I'm an organizer, "Oh, you like hoarders?" And I'm so ironic about this is that you were on the other show, Hoarding Buried Alive. So so you can actually say yes, I do like that show, but not like. In my whole practice, I worked with maybe 3 hoarders my whole entire practice, the whole 10 years. I mean, it's usually not that. It's usually just a bunch of other stuff that people I work with. But no, I mean, I think how was that experience? Was it set up for the camera? It's like, tell me what was going on. I'll tell you how that experience was.
Well, the shoot was here in Pittsburgh, and it was in 2014, I think, 2013, and the clients. Were a level 5. They had which is the highest level of clutter that can be. They actually had some squalor in their basement. They had, I think it's from season 4. It's called I Lost My Teeth in the Pile.
Oh my God. Okay. All right.
Literally. I really felt sorry for her. She really had a lot of mental health and physical health disorders. And anyway, it was quite the experience. I wasn't sure if I wanted to do it or not, but I did it, and it was a house with no running water.
Wow.
For a year. They had no running water. There was a lot of abuse of drugs, alcohol mainly, animal abuse. It was a bad situation. But you know what? When I went on the show, I really wasn't sure what to expect.
Yeah.
And actually, I brought another organizer to help me here from Pittsburgh, and I just started working with her. The psychologist didn't have luck. She had some luck, but not as much luck as I had.
Wow.
So I just started working with her, and she said, "Wow, you guys are doing great. You're doing great with her." And I said, "Well, I'm just working with her."
Yeah.
And the cameraman and the sound guy, same thing.
Oh, that's so funny.
Amazing. Yeah, and then we got done with the shoot. It was like an 8-9 hour day, and then we did a month of aftercare. You never see that on TV.
No, you don't. Yeah.
But we did a month, and we ended up really doing a lot of charitable work for them.
Oh, good.
Just to help them. Yeah, just to help them get through it. But what's really sad is it would have been really great if they had also had the mental health aspect and the aftercare, which they did not, and they really did not do well because I ran into them. I called them later, and her name was Lynn, it's Kyle and Lynn. And Lynn ended up losing her mom like 6 months after the show.
Oh,
and
wow.
She just started hoarding again.
Oh, yeah.
She started hoarding again. And she ended up going to jail for a while.
Oh, my God.
And, yeah, it was really sad. She went to jail for animal abuse and for not paying her garbage bill, which I was like,
Yeah, that's
an odd thing.
Yeah, that's kind of, I'm like, yeah, that's kind of odd, but okay.
Yeah, but it really was sad, that happened to her. But yeah, it's a long day, and I think the shows, have a good and bad part about them. The good part is that they show this horrible disease of hoarding, and that there is help out there, and that they're not the only people. The bad part is when, they focus on the, like, wow, there was a lot of F words in that episode.
They're very exploitive. They can be exploitive, yes, I'm sure. Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah, there's a lot of that. And,
It's TV.
She did find her dentures, and they had to show
Of course, it's
show.
TV. I work in TV. I get it. I feel like Oprah. I get it. No, I mean I get it. I get
Yeah, I
what's
get it, yeah.
there's some stuff they do
Yeah,
for ratings.
Yeah, and I found some pictures that were not very nice of her, that the boyfriend Kyle had taken, and he said, "Oh, I'm going to give those rights to the producer," and I said, "No, you're not," and
Good.
I just took them from him.
Good,
I
good.
do it. I didn't care. I was not going to let him do that to her, and but yeah, it was an experience. That's the best way to put it. It was an experience.
Yeah, that's just oh my god. I have no desire to be on any of those shows. I mean, I work in television. I'm on TV. I don't have no desire. I'm like those shows. I met Matt Paxton, who's from Hoarders, at the NAPO conference.
That's nice. That's a nice
Oh,
guy.
great guy. Oh my god, we talked forever. Yeah. We had a great time in the exhibit hall.
He's a great guy.
So it was kind of funny. He was telling me about the hoarding thing. Because I went to a NAPO conference 2 years ago. It was in LA, so I was like, I'm right there.
That's right.
And I went to. I said, well, people laugh when I say this, but I'm like, I was so high that whole like 2 or 3 days, being around other organizers. Now, first of all, I stand out anyway because I'm kind of like this tall, big black guy who has a really deep voice, who's loud.
Yeah.
Then you go to this profession where it's relatively a new profession. We're talking like maybe 35 years. There's actually been a organizing thing, so it's relatively still kind of new. People are now's a resurgence happening about people getting to know it now, and hopefully my radio show is part of that. But also, it's mostly women. And so I was like, there was like 5,000 people there, and 4,080 of them were women. And but it was like people were like, I remember you from the conference. Like, how could you not remember me? Like I was one of 20 guys, and all those guys kind of like was smiling, like, hey, I know you. Hey, I know you. But the whole experience was so. I mean, great classes I went to. I'd never been so excited to go to an exhibit hall and look at all the products, and I met such great people. Like Claire Kumar and Matt Paxton and always just people people who are doing amazing products to help support our industry. I loved it, and I was so sad I couldn't go to one here. I was so sad.
Yeah, we just had our NAPO conference
in Pittsburgh.
Right?
Okay, so in Pittsburgh,
We just had it in April.
I meet Ellen Fay, who was the president at the time, and she's the outgoing president, and it's been on my show. I don't know if you heard our episode. She's been on my show. Love her, and so when I met her, she's like, "So you're not coming?" I said, "I know. I'm from Pittsburgh. I have a house I can stay free at my house in Pittsburgh, but I had the daytime Emmys and my grandson's birthday. He was turning 18, so I had 2 major events that I couldn't say, sorry, I gotta go. I had to be there. I mean, I couldn't. My grandson lost his father 2 years ago." So I become like a surrogate father and grandfather. So it's like he's turning 18. I can't miss his birthday. And then there was a daytime Emmys that weekend, and I was covering that. I was like, but I was like, it's in Pittsburgh. I get told, oh my God, I was so sad I couldn't go. But I'm just telling you, I really
pleasantly surprised how wonderful Pittsburgh is.
I know Pittsburgh's great. I thought great choice, you guys. A great choice, easy to fly into.
Yep.
Everything.
Yeah, it was a great conference, and all our conferences with NAPO or ICD or NASM, National Association of Senior Move Managers, they're always really just great. And education and meeting your peers and networking with your peers is just really wonderful.
Wait, you just said National Association of Senior Move Managers? Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, so you guys out there, I always learn stuff on these shows. I'm learning. I mean, there are so many. I'm writing this down because I might want to talk to them too. There's so many organizations out there that are in our field and in our field adjacent. There are so many certifications, through NAPO and other organizations, ICD. I don't know if you know Regina Lark, who's out in California.
Yes, I know.
Yeah, that's my girl. That's my girl. I just went and saw Wonder Woman with her.
Yeah, she's great.
Oh, she's wonderful. Yeah. But she's like me. We get certifications. Like I'm gonna get certified in this. I'm gonna get certified in that. And like there's so many certifications.
There are.
And I mean, and folks out there who are in the industry, there are many that some of them are a class or 2. Some of them are a couple of months. Some of them, like I had one that was 9 months. They're varying degrees. Sometimes you can do it in a weekend. There's so many certifications. They're not like they don't take forever, and they're very valuable. And they add value to your business because you're a business. I mean, right? Vickie's a business, right?
definitely. Probably the one that's the longest is through ICD, the CPO-CD.
Oh, yeah, I know that one, yes. Yes, I know that one.
Yeah, that one's a year and a half. But yeah, depending upon what type of organizing you specialize in, or if you're a generalist, I mean, it's great. I mean, I have my regular CPO too through
Yes,
NAPO.
you do.
And it's great. And NASM has some certification. NASM also started, I was the first professional organizer to join NASM.
Wow.
And when it was little, when I joined, it was like 75 people.
Wow, that's so funny.
Probably about 1,200 or so now.
Yeah.
And that has a lot of professional organizers in there who just happen to specialize in doing work with seniors, whether it's moving and downsizing, whether it's financial stuff. They do a lot of aging in place. So, there's a lot of people like me. I belong to NASM, I belong to NAPO, and I belong to ICD. I belong to all three because they all touch in my world, all three of them.
Well, it's like me. I'm part of NAPO. I'm also a certified life coach. So I'm part of ICF, the International Coach Federation. I mean, it's in both worlds because even in life coaching, I'm a divorce coach, life coach. And I have different, and we just said a year and a half. Folks, a year and a half really isn't that long. It goes by fast when you're in it. I mean, it really does. I took all the time. We're such a society of quick, finish. You could be a nurse in 5 months. No, I don't want anybody who's been a nurse for 5 months, who's gone training for 5 months.
That's exactly right.
I don't want
That's
that.
exactly right.
But,
because like at ICD, it's a year and a half to get your CPO-CD, and you may not get it. It's kind of like in your master's degree. You have to go for peer review and everything. Yeah. And you know what? If it was 6 days, it wouldn't mean much.
Exactly.
It's good.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's better. It's better because then you learn about yourself and everything else. It's just a great certification, as any other certification is, that takes some time and takes some education, to get it. That's a really good thing. It's also good for the public.
Yes.
The more you're educated, the better it is for the public, whether you're working with them directly or you're doing a lot of speaking. I do a lot of speaking now, too. I mean, I still work with people, but I don't work with them as much as I used to.
Yeah.
So, but being educated is important. It's very important.
It's just so funny because I used to run conferences. I used to work in insurance education. Here's what's funny with James Lodge here. I am a certified farm and ag specialist in insurance. So yes, I can talk about cranberry bogs and turkey ranches. I can tell you all kinds. I can talk about that kind of stuff. So it's kind of funny. You never know, right? But I know it's so like you from California. That's crazy. But no, it's we used to run conferences. I used to be the one also who ran the conference. I went through the course and took it at the same time. But I used to watch people. I used to do the registration, the badges, and I had to laugh because I'm usually the one who looks at the sheets and does the mass merge and make sure. And people would come to me. I mean, I would be at the registration. You left out one of my certifications, my letters.
Oh yeah.
I used to laugh. I used to go, you have 10 sets of letters after your name. I just missed one. And I used to like, whatever, but we do it. Okay, Vickie, I have 6, maybe, do I have 7 letters after my name? I think I have 6 sets. I know for sure I have 6 sets of letters after my name now.
Oh my gosh.
When I went to the conference, I was like, you left out the one that's the main. I'm like, I seriously, they left out one of my, and I was like, oh my God, I'm that person now. I love having letters because I'm like, you know what? I mean, we work hard to get those letters. Now I understand, and also it's a marketing thing too. I've learned. I mean, they're all whatever.
Yeah.
But it's a marketing tool.
I mean, I've had people, and I don't know about you, but I've had people who say, okay, so my mom is hoarding or has chronic disorganization, so you have this specialty focus. Or I only want to hire a certified professional organizer because I know that means that they're educated and they have more training. And the public, it's becoming, it's like sort of like a certified financial planner. When they started out and became certified, people were like, what? But now, I mean, I don't think most people would go to somebody who wasn't a certified financial planner.
Exactly.
For that
Exactly.
Sort of thing.
Exactly.
And I think the same thing's happening in our industry too.
It is. I think it is too.
Anything.
I think it is too, and it is definitely in the life coaching industry too. We have the same. It's like you have okay, I'm a CATCC and an ACC. Oh, okay, God. I'm like, they like it. I mean, even though some of the letters kind of, like you said with yours, some of them overlap too. It's like CPO, CD, and CPO. Like, but still, with that extra added thing in your letter, they know that you do that too. Chronic disorganization. Okay, good.
Exactly.
And so I get it's a tool. Again, I said this on my shows the other day. we are a business, and organizers out there, I'm going to say this to you. I probably said it a million times in the show. I'm going to say it again. So just get tired of me saying it. I'm going to keep saying it. Never undervalue yourself and your worth as an organizer. Even if you're new, even if you've been around for a long time, doesn't matter. If you do not go out there, you have the confidence, first of all, in your ability, and if you have letters to your name, use those letters. Use your trainings, how long you've been in the business. Just do not undervalue yourself, because what we're doing God's work. We're out there really trying to help people.
Yeah, we really do change lives. I actually just finished working with a woman who was hoarding, and her son, actually, that's exactly what he said to me. He said, "You are doing God's work. You've helped my mom so much. Her life has changed." And we do. We change lives. We really do. And I think sometimes you're right. People undervalue what they do. And, if it's in a business and they're making those people become more productive, or if it's in a hoarding situation, or if it's in a toy room, whatever it is, you're changing someone's life by helping them become more organized. You really are. You're just helping them. And you need to remember that. You're right. You need to remember that.
We actually are affecting change. We're affecting change. I'm not just pushing papers. I've had jobs where I just basically push papers that didn't do crap for anybody, but push papers. Now I'm out. Now we're out and I'm in the trenches, in the fields, and now I get to do this media stuff. I just feel very fortunate. I get to have radio and TV shows. I could talk about organizing.
Well, you're changing life too.
I am.
You're changing life too, James.
I am, and that's why I want to showcase. That's why when I come to these cities, I want to showcase the locals, because you guys are doing good work and for the betterment of humanity. And it sounds dramatic, but to me, it's not. It's the truth. It's just you really are out there trying to contribute something positive to the world.
I think so too, and I think you are too, and I agree 100%. 100%. So organizers are great.
Yes.
But we really do help people. We really do. And I've always been in the helping world as far as a career, from nursing to social work.
Yeah.
And I just click working with people. It's definitely something that I love to do.
Well, I see why. You're lovely. So I don't want to end, but we have to end. I mean, it's just kind of how this works. I mean, I tell you, we can. Let's go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say someday you're going to have to meet Ophelia, and maybe while you're in Pittsburgh, she might have coffee with you or something.
Yes. Okay. We're going to try to say, because I'm here off and on for the next 3 weeks. I'm running out of town, coming back, running out of town. But hopefully we can meet up while I'm here. At least have lunch. Yeah. I do want to do that, but we'll talk off mic about that. But I just want to tell people, okay, again, thanks for being on the show, Vickie. Tell people where they can find you online. Just tell people where they can find you.
Organizationrules.com is my website, and Organization Rules has a Facebook page, same thing, and also Ophelia, who is my mascot.
Yes.
Ophelia's Organizing Opinions, and Ophelia will answer any organizing questions somebody has. She also reviews books, products from organizers, from companies. She does a lot. She's done a lot. Container Store keeps picking up her stuff because she likes to go shopping there. It's right by where I live.
Oh, it's so funny. Oh my God, I love it. Well, I like her on Facebook.
She's named after my grandmother. And it was exactly what you said, clearing clutter from my brain. I thought, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to name her after my grandmother.
Aww.
So there you go.
I love that.
Yeah, so So she's named after my grandmother, and she's all about organizing. She goes to conferences, too. She was at the NAPO conference.
Oh, that's so funny. That is hilarious. I love it. It's something different. And I love it. I think it's why not? Why not? So, and make it fun too. We do hard work, but we also try to have fun and have a good time. And organizers are fun people. We're fun people. We're a lot of fun.
We are. We're very fun people. And you know what? I like people. I want to help people, as you do too. And you know what? And I also like to have a little fun with them too, because that's what makes it really work well. It definitely does. It works well that way.
Yes. Vickie Delllaquila, we are so glad you were on the show. We will talk soon. You have a great weekend and take care of yourself, and again, we'll talk soon.
Okay. Hey, thanks so much, James. Take care.
Thank you. Bye.
Okay, bye.
So that was Vickie Delllaquila, and she is here in Pittsburgh, and you can look her up again, organizingrules.com, organizationrules.com, organizationrules.inc. You can probably go to napo.net and look her up on a directory. She's there also. Or contact me if you want to use her for a speaking engagement or organizing, or you have a senior you want some advice about. I'll get you in contact with her if you want to. Here in Pittsburgh, Western Pennsylvania. She's here. Her book is called Don't Toss My Memories in the Trash. A newer, updated version is coming out in July. I want my copy. I'm going to tell her I want me to make sure I get me a copy of that. I'm very excited for her. And so that's another edition from Live from Pittsburgh, which I'm doing another episode later on today. And these will be up shortly. And so I'm here in Pittsburgh, and we're talking to organizers who are doing good work. A special shout out to NAPO Pittsburgh chapter for getting me in contact with these people. I want to give a shout out to Regina Lark, who also helped me get in contact with some of these. I mean, just the help has been just so wonderful, and I love doing the show so much. You can follow us on Facebook at the SOS show. I'm like all of a sudden at the SOS show. You can also follow us on Twitter at the SOS_show, because someone took the SOS show. I can't get it. And you can follow me, James Lott Jr. And you just type in James Lott Jr. and it's just everywhere in the world. And you can find me, and you want to message me there. But you guys take care and just get in the mindset and get ready for success. I told the universe what I wanted. The universe replied, I will work with you and show you the way. These are things you will need.